Hello folks, I hope everybody is having a blessed day today. I'm going to tie what I call a bleeding shad. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to use some white thread. I'm going to be using some white marabou. I'm going to be using some red embroidery thread, and I'm going to use a little bit of, if you can see it in the bag there, some of the sparkle tinsel. It's kind of a goldish, got some blue in it, and then I'm going to use a little bit of the pink. Now, what I'm going to do, the body is going to be real simple. I'm going to take just a one piece of marabou. Don't need a big one. And let me grab my white thread here. I'm kind of out of sync, if you will, on my supplies. Now this is not really the white thread that I choose to use. It's more of a floss. It's a real shiny, slick white floss. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to run off about 6 or 8 feet. I'm going to cut it because my thread holder is not available for me to use. I've got some other thread in it and I don't want to change it, so I'm just going to cut off about 6 feet or so. Now there's 4 strands of this, so I'm just going to be using 2 strands, and if I have to, I'll come back and use the other 2 strands later. But for the moment, I'm going to put those 2 strands aside. I'm thinking if I do it this way, I can get 2 jigs out of 1 piece of thread. So we'll see. So it's just hanging, and I'm having to do this by hand because of my my thread spooler. So I'm just going to run that up and back down. I'm going to take the ends of this. I'm going to take the tag ends and try to wrap them as well. This stuff is so slick, I can't hold it tight enough to make it wrap without wanting to come undone. So I pulled off enough to use. I hope I can do this. I hope this is going to work. Okay, well, I think we're going to be good. Yes, it did sort of what I was hoping for. So I don't want to just cut that off. I mean, I can use it. So let me just wrap this up here a bit, and then I'm going to cover that good. Now let's put a half hitch on there just to keep it from wanting to come unravel. All right, there we're good. Now let's cut those tags and get rid of that stuff. It looks like it's trying to fly away on us. It's been very hot the last, all summer, the last month or so. But in a couple of days, I'm going fishing with a friend, and I'm wanting to take these and give these a try at his home. He lives on a lake, and want to use these with him there. And hopefully I'll have time to make a couple of these. So I'm going to run that down. Well, I just want it on top. Now, let's cut the tail off of that marabou. And now, the next thing I'm going to do, I call this my bloody minnow, my bloody shad. The reason I call it that is because I told you I was going to be using just a short piece of this embroidery thread. It runs four strands, and that's okay because I want it almost as long. I'll trim it so the red is almost to the end of the white marabou body. So let me tie that in place. All right, let's do our little half hitch on there just to hold our thread. Okay, well, that wanted to pull out. That's okay. Now that's just going to be laying down amongst the marabou. So we'll take it, we'll cut that tag off. Now just for a little bit of attractant, I'm going to take a couple of pieces. I think I've already changed my mind on what I told you. I think I'm just going to use about 3 strands of this goldish and silver tinsel. It has a little blue hint to it. I don't want much. I just want to give it a little bit of, flash. So, tell you what, let's do. Let's fold that. So we got it doubled, so we've got about 3 strands, which is going to give us about 6 pieces of tinsel that's going to be flashing. It'll be showing. And I changed my mind again. I have ability to do that. I'm going to take where I doubled that. I want to find those doubles and just run my scissors down through there to pull all those tags down. And then I want to cut them all about the same length. You know, that right there is going to be fine. Let me cut this tag off up here. Okay. Now, I want it to be bigger, and I want up at the head, and I want it to taper down to nothing as we go. I don't want to cover all of my red thread, because I want it to be able to be seen, look like a blood streak, if you will. So now as I come back up, I'm going to wrap that bigger. I'm tapering it as I go, and down toward the tail it tapers out to nothing. I'm going all the way down. I'm going to trim I'm longer on my tinsel than I thought I was, but that's okay. Okay, let me put a half hitch on there, and then I'll get my whip, and we will we'll tie it off and we'll call that good. Wanted to make this real simple. Not a whole lot of different colors and all to a shad, so we just want to be somewhat looking like a shad that's kind of a whitish silver body with a little bit of flash. And that red blood streak through it. I ran a little more, wanted the body a little bigger. It wound up not being quite as big as I wanted it to be. Okay. I'm going to put head cement after I whip this. I'm going to put head cement on it just so that it doesn't turn on the body of on the jig. So I've got enough to do this a couple of times. I'll start over. When you have that tinsel, sometimes can be a pain. Wants to separate. If you don't have it good and tight, it will the whip will get messed up, and it will get tangled on your whip, and then you could wind up having to start all over and cut it. So there's a good turn on there. So that came down good and tight. Okay, that's gonna work. So let's do that. Let's see if we've got enough tag on this thread to put maybe 2 more 5s on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's 6. Alright, maybe we got enough thread to do one more time. I think we do. That's great. Okay, that'll just give it a little more bulk up at the head. Make it look like a little bigger shad, maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe 6. Okay, so we'll pull that down. Come on, just about the same length, maybe a little short. Oh, now I'm just going to use some head cement. This changes the color of it to just a little bit of a pearl instead of white. It darkens that tinsel a little bit, but that's okay. I'm wanting it to soak through there to the hook. So I'm not going to put that head cement all the way down the full bit of the thread. Just want it. That kind of gives it a little bit of a two-tone on the. I'll show you up close in just a moment when I take it out of the vise. Like I said, because of a shad being just a very simple color pattern creature, if I had an unpainted jig, I would have used that. Okay, let me get that up close for you. So we're going to call that with that red in there. I think you can see that red. Turn it that way. There's listed it. See if we can see the belly. So you do see the red, and that red is going to be showing well in the more on one side. I wanted it on top, but my thread. Let's see if I can roll that. Now when that head cement dries, that should leave my red thread on top. So whenever it's jigging up and down, that will be down toward the crappie, so you ought to be able to see it. Okay, folks, we'll get this in the water in a couple of days and give it a try. And if you got any questions, let me know. I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel, and if you would also share it with your friends, and if you'd hit a like, I would appreciate it. Have a blessed day, folks.